Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. I'm not sure I've done a few videos on the inside, so y'all know where I'm at. EFI Specialties, the car is right out there. Y'all saw it in the last video where we're at. So now what we're doing is we're gonna get the headers off the old heads. We're gonna clean up the head bolts, clean up the push rods. We're getting some new springs. Mac's gonna start putting the heads together, and we're gonna get this thing rocking and rolling tonight. That's for sure. I would be outside, but I'll show you. It's dark and it's pouring, so I ain't doing an intro out there. So there's your intro. Here we go. All right, time to put the big boy springs in. So I'm gonna get here behind Mac. We're gonna look over his shoulder for one of them. I'm not gonna stand here for all of them.
All right, we can see there. So what I'm doing is I have a retainer and keeper in and the spring seat. And what I'm doing is checking install height. So I'm gonna measure from the top of the seat to the bottom of the retainer. As close as possible right now. About there. 2089. So what I can do, we want our install height to be 2050 in order for it to be the 175 pound seat. I could go a little more. I could work out the math of what the coil bind is on those, what our lift is, and run them tighter to increase the seat, all kinds of cool stuff.
Right.
You don't want a valve spring that's too loose.
Right.
Too loose, it's uncontrolled, and that's what causes them to break. So ideally, we used to run them X number from coil bind. I'm not going to say because I don't want people just going, oh, Max said to do this and mess it up somehow.
It all depends on the coil. There are a lot of factors that goes into it.
You gotta know your measurement, what all kinds of things are going to do. But we used to run some of the race stuff and some of the street strip stuff 30 from coil, depending on the spring.
I'm just dummyizing what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. But that way, when the tighter to the spring, one, you get more seat pressure and everything.
Right.
The springs aren't vibrating around.
So
they sit down
compact.
on each other, and we're using a nice big pack. So this spring, the wire isn't round either. It's ovate. I don't know if you see that, Don.
Oh yeah, so it's flat, kind of oval.
Flat and oval.
Yeah.
These things, so when they compress, if they were looser, they would be wanting to move around.
Right.
When they kind of stack upon each other, it's all controlled.
All controlled.
So I know I can put a 30,000 shim on your intakes and get the desired install height, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to check. We'll just do a quick video of this. So I'm going to find a 30,000 shim. Let's see what this guy is here. All right, that's 30. Let's see if this bigger one, that should be, so that says 40, which means it's probably considered a 50. That might be a stocker. I think that's what they are. I think the stockers are 40. Yeah. So I might be able to use, they're a little inconsistent though. I don't know if you're seeing that.
Yeah.
So, let's see what this guy is here.
39 to 44. That's probably a 30.
That's a 30. I have a whole bunch of shims, but 34. I mean, they're all 36. This could be a little off too, but it's close enough for what I'm doing here. So I have enough 30s here that I can go ahead and stack your deal. So what I'm going to do now, as long as I got the right ones, see how it fits.
Yep.
So that goes on there. That'll go on here. Then I'm going to put this guy back on here. So after this is figured out, ideally in a race application or something, fresh machine, you're going to check every one. But in my experience of over 15 years of head porting and machining and everything, back when I was doing it professionally every day, the Hemi stuff is usually pretty Nat's ass, everyone. And Nat's ass is a technical term. So that's pretty close there. Let's see. It says right at 2 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this spring and show you a different way to get the measurement to make sure that
it's right.
Yeah. So, because once the spring's on, I'll have this flat spot to go off of as well. And that will help the situation. This is backwards. Dumbass Mac. I've been using the same tool. They don't even make this tool anymore, like this brand. I've been using the same tool since I started doing things on my own. Oof. The same bolts. You see how the coating's polished? Like literally only replace this nut. And I put ARP anti-seize type lube on it to keep certain things moving. I swear it's stuff. It's pretty amazing. So now
enough room to put the lockers on there.
Yes, sir. And
retainers, proper term.
No, these are keepers.
Keepers.
The retainer is the part that's on the spring. So now, what I'll do is I'll try and check and see where they're at here. So I'm gonna zero that guy out. And if this ends up being not quite right, I can just
finagle it.
Off my eyes, it's still showing. I might have to take the shim back out, which is fine. It's what you have to do when you're setting things up. Gotta catch the edge of it. 2013 and a half, so 2050 is the 175. So if the coil bind is at 1346, so what I'll do is, in order to check the coil bind, so my lift is 2.013, and then we'll minus 1346. That equals 667 into a coil bind. Let's say we want to do 40 from coil, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to do it like this. And that's how much lift it can handle at this current spec. Yours is 605 lift. So we're still plenty from coil bind.
Plenty of room.
So I can go ahead and leave them tighter, which will give you a little more spring seat pressure, a little bit more control on the valve, and keep things from flying off the cam lobe and stuff like that.
Right.
Keeps things from getting beat up. So I'm going to run all these a little tighter. And so that's where we're going to keep this one. And then we'll see where the exhaust is at. The exhaust will probably be closer to where that is right now. I remember only having to shim the intakes.
Right.
And then we'll be good to go. On some like street stuff, I wouldn't necessarily do this for people who aren't gonna change their springs and maintain their cars properly and listen for things. But for us race guys, this is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
So,
all right, rinse, repeat for.
So I know all 8 intakes. As long as I'll check one of those once the spring's installed.
Yeah.
If it comes out the same, they'll all be the same.
So rinse, repeat 15 more times. So we'll be back after we do this 15 more times.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, so y'all saw us doing some work. I'm going to show you the work that we did. We got both heads in. Headers are down there. So we got the head studs in. We just don't have it bolted down yet. So that's the next part, getting the nuts, bolting it down. And then from there, where'd my boss go? Outside. Where's my list maker? So now we got the heads on. Now it's bolting it down, putting in the Hi-Ram studs.
Yeah, we need to do those, but I want to do those before the rocker shafts are on in case you fumble one, so the valves are closed.
Gotcha.
Smart.
Especially with Don doing it.
Exactly, like you just dropped the head stud into the oil return.
No, that you did that. I had to go get it out. But there you go, folks. We got a few more things to do. We are starting the car in this video.
Even if we got a nap on the couch, we're getting it done.
Even if we got to take a nap, we are going to start the car in this video. So keep hanging on, folks. Don't fast forward. Just hang on. Mac's putting in the crossover tubes right now. Crossover lines. We torqued everything down. Did I say that 3 times now? We torqued everything down.
Yeah, you definitely did.
And we've been torquing everything to specs.
Mostly.
So on to taking a break, and then we're going to come back out and what's next?
Torque some stuff down.
Start throwing stuff. Start throwing stuff down.
Oh, torque stuff down. I said.
Oh, torque stuff down.
Didn't want to use the hammer near the paint.
Yeah, right. So we'll be back.
No, next is.
All right, folks. It's super early morning, and we have the Stanky Motorsports braces and collars. So we shouldn't have any valve train issues. So we're going to put on the valve covers, and we're going to do the other side, and we're going to keep moving until we get the car started.
Literally.
All right, a little more progress. We got the second valve cover. All of the coil packs are now in. We painted them black. I think that looks awesome blacked out. We got the ProCharger bracket on. We got the coolant expansion tank hooked back up, and my little hoodie for overflow. So we got a few more things to do. We got the intake manifold to put on, and then we're going from a 3.6 pulley to a 3.2 pulley. Party time. So there's the difference. It's a pretty big difference. Party all the time.
Nightmare's going to lend you a tensioner.
Someone's lending me a tensioner for now because mine is, the bottom piece is stripped out. But I got one coming.
He doesn't know he is.
I got a billet one coming from...
He doesn't know he is, but he's lending you one.
But I got a billet one coming from HHP, so I'm today. Just... Hopefully today. UPS says today, but I don't know. Who knows? You never know with UPS.
This is just for his...
But if it shows up today, it'll be on tomorrow.
I mean, it's just literally the same as what your stock would be.
Yeah. So I'm going to put the tensioner on, put the ProCharger on, we're going to put a belt on. Hopefully I got the right size. Then we got to get oil and intake on.
Go on before the oil.
Yeah, intake on and party time.
Yeah, we'll leave the coolant out.
We are going to start.
You're going to get distilled water and shit. We're going to run it for a couple minutes.
We're just going to run it for real quick, just to make sure it starts, make sure it runs, make sure it's got oil pressure, and we're going to shut her back down, and then we're going to drain the oil, put new oil back in, fill up the coolant tanks, and we're going to go party, and Dave's going to start tuning.
You hear Dave back there running?
All right, we got her all hooked up. We just did we cranked it a little while to get everything oiled up and ready to go, and I'm going to turn it over to Mac. I'm going to hop in the car and go for that first start. Everybody cross y'all fingers.
Give it some air, like some throttle. It's gonna smoke a little bit because it's got a lot of oil in the stuff, you know? Give it the beans. Even with giving it throttle with your...
Alright everyone, super pumped. Shake and Bake is back. She's running. So not 100% sure what the plan is going forward, but I think what we're going to try to do is put Shake and Bake on the dyno as she is right now with the stock PCM. Do a couple of dyno pulls. Make sure everything's good with the engine and possibly the trans. They can run through that real quick because the trans is still untested. Obviously now the motor is untested. So we have a lot of questions, a lot of possible concerns. So I think that's the plan going forward. A couple dyno pulls. I may or may not be there. I've been at the shop 5 days straight. It's been an amazing 5 days to get this done. Maybe I'll do a video on wrapping everything up. But yeah, super excited. Shake and Bake is actually running, starts. We got everything in, but a couple little small things we gotta button up, which we can button up tomorrow if he gets on the dyno tomorrow, which will be Wednesday. But we'll have to see what happens. But that's going to do it for this, folks. If you're stopping in for the first time, please check out the rest of the channel. If you like what's going on with the rest of the channel, do me those few things. Like, subscribe, smash the bell, shoot me a comment, share it on your social media. I'll definitely appreciate it. Shake and Bake will definitely appreciate it. That's it for this one, folks. Till next time, adios.